Look, I know this may be slightly late. Slightly late to post this, but you know what? I just got home from vacation and I felt like, let's freaking do it, right? Let's freaking do it. Um, so let's go for it. And we're going to talk about Tesla today because they just released their numbers as far as deliveries for the quarter. So that's obviously an exciting time. You see the stock here hammered down pretty hard, in total down over 8% today. So you can't deny it. It is officially rough for the stock, but all things considered, there's a lot of good news today. So again, valuations absurd on this company. We can't deny it, but let's look at these numbers. And I gotta say, this is what I would say is quite impressive. Overall production of 145,000 vehicles, which is a record, by the way, and overall deliveries of 139,000 vehicles, which is a record in terms of deliveries. Absolute record. Very, very nice in terms of that. Also, one thing to note, new vehicle inventory has declined further, which is good because that means they're actually delivering the vehicles they're producing. You don't want a big old massive inventory of stockpiled cars that you're not selling, so it's more efficient this way, so it's good that they're actually able to do this. Coming from them, our net income and cash flow results will be announced along with the rest of our financial performance when we announce the quarter 3 earnings. Our delivery count reviewed as slightly conservative, as we only count the cars delivered if it is transferred to the customer and all paperwork is correct. Boom. Could vary by up to 0.5% or more. Again, this is nice, but you got to obviously know what do these numbers mean. I talk about a record, but there's two metrics that I want to compare this off of. So you want to compare it obviously off of last quarter, in which they delivered 90,000 and produced only 82,000. So you see massive improvement from there. But again, this production number is really because of the shutdown in California during this time where they weren't able to produce. They still were able to get deliveries out, which is pretty key. As far as product mix, you see very similar between the Model S and Model 3. As far as percentage of sales, I mean, they're making about the same part. Model 3 is obviously their big player. I did want to bring in dollar amount too with this because I think that's important. I just did the calculation off an average selling price of a Model 3 is right around $60,000. So if you're thinking about that, this should be a massive quarter for them. Again, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. Obviously, I don't think it will be this high necessarily in terms of that revenue perspective, but could be $8.3 billion on a high end for my calculation potentially. So could be a lot of money headed their way this quarter, which would be a record in terms of obviously profit. And if you look from a quarterly income standpoint, last quarter they put up $6.3 billion, which again $8 billion seems kind of likely now. A quarter before that, 6.3, there we go. Quarter prior to that, they're giving these numbers in weird stuff. Last quarter was 6.04 billion. Quarter before that, 5.99. Quarter 4 last year was 7.38, and comparative this quarter, last year's quarter 3 was 6.3. So quality stuff, but also if you look at quality stuff, 6.3 billion relates to 97,000 vehicles delivered if you're talking about Q3 of last year, which is where this comparison's coming from. So obviously a big jump in terms of vehicle deliveries year over year. You're talking about obviously an extra 40,000 in terms of vehicles delivered, right? Pretty massive to see those numbers. 40,000 extra vehicles should equate roughly to around $2.5 billion more in terms of revenue in my perspective. So again, I think that 8.3 to 8.4 billion number seems pretty likely for them in terms of that revenue. The question obviously is going to come about profitability. Again, this is the main key of this company. They're focusing on that right now. You see Wedbush is expecting a profit beat from Tesla here, obviously because of this massive stuff here, but we'll see exactly that will come to play. I don't know necessarily, but again, they're expecting a beat in terms of profit. They are expecting profitability to begin with, but you look at the stock, obviously, and the amount of work that this thing has done. Year to date, up 380%. Seems incredible, even after a big downward movement today. And you just think about, where does this have to go? Again, Wedbush gave a price target there of 475 still on this, and a bullish price target of 700 is the ultra bull case. There's a lot of room to move on this stock still. I'm not personally a fan of buying in at these levels. I'm not, you know me, I'm too much of a value investor. I already have my spec stocks in. But if I was not already invested enough in spec, I would be in Tesla. I can't lie to you. I like what the company's doing, just don't like the valuation of the stock. Haha, enjoy.